The first time I pretended to be Mia's boyfriend. I didn't even know her name. One moment I was sipping coffee, the next her hand wrapped around my wrist like she was drowning and I was the only thing keeping her above water. "Please, just play along," she breathed, eyes wide with fear. Before I could ask why, a tall man with rage in his stare walked into the cafe. Her hand tightened, and without thinking, I slid my arm around her and said, "Hey, babe." The lie came out smoother than it should have. He stared at us like he wanted to tear the table in half, but after a tense moment, he left. Mia exhaled hard, finally letting go of my hand. "I'm so sorry. Here's my ex. He doesn't like accepting the word no." "That sounds like a him problem," I said gently. "Want to sit?" "Tell me your name." She smiled, small, shy, grateful. "I'm Mia." And that was the start of everything. 3 days later, we bumped into each other again, this time in the bookstore. She looked peaceful, flipping through romance novels. When she saw me, her face brightened in a way that did something dangerous to my heartbeat. "Daniel." "Hey." We talked for almost an hour. Easy, natural, like we'd known each other for years instead of 15 chaotic minutes. But then her phone buzzed. Her smile vanished. "It's him," she whispered. Something inside me snapped into place, protective, sharp. Without hesitation, I took her hand. "Want me to pretend again?" She nodded, relieved. But this time, when our hands touched, it didn't feel like an act. Not even a little. Later that night, she texted me, "Thank you. Again." And I texted back, "Anytime." We didn't stop texting after that. Or meeting. Or laughing at things only we found funny. It wasn't pretending anymore. Not to me. Weeks passed. No ex. No emergencies. Just us. Coffee. Dinners. Late-night phone calls that neither of us wanted to hang up from. Every time she talked, she opened up a little more, about her dreams, her fears, her stubborn heart that wanted to love but didn't know how to trust again. One evening, with soft loving music playing in our usual cafe, she said quietly, "You know, if you really were my boyfriend, I think I'd finally feel safe." I swallowed hard. "If I were your boyfriend, I'd make sure you did." For a moment she just looked at me, long, searching, warm. And I swear the world tilted. But she didn't say anything. She just tucked her hair behind her ear and smiled a trembling little smile that nearly undone me. We weren't pretending. We were drifting. Falling. Slowly. Beautifully. Dangerously. Our almost love turned real the night she arrived to dinner with shaking hands and red eyes. "He came to my apartment," she whispered. "He said I belonged to him. I didn't know what to do. I just left." She looked so small in that moment. So tired of being scared. I didn't think. I just held her. "You're not alone," I murmured. "Not while I'm here." She clung to me with a softness that made my chest ache. Later, in her apartment, she asked quietly, "Can you stay?" "Just tonight. I feel safer when you're here." So I stayed. We talked. We laughed weakly. We made tea we didn't drink. She fell asleep against my shoulder, trusting me, choosing me, and I realized I was already in love. Hopelessly, deeply, completely. Sunlight warmed her kitchen as we made breakfast, bumping into each other, laughing at tiny accidents. Something felt different, brighter, braver. While we ate, she suddenly stilled. "Daniel," she said softly, "I don't want to pretend anymore." My breath caught. She walked around the table, sat beside me, took my hand. "I want something real. With you." I didn't hesitate. "Mia, I've been falling for you since the day you grabbed my wrist." She let out a breath that sounded like relief and hope woven together, then pressed her forehead to mine. "I'm already there," she whispered. And when she kissed me, slow, warm, trembling, I swear the world finally made sense. From that day, everything changed. We went from stolen moments to full days together. From almost confessions to whispered I love yous in the quiet of early mornings. She blocked her ex, changed her locks, found peace. And I found something too, someone who made even ordinary moments feel cinematic. We danced in her kitchen to soft music. We watched movies on my couch, tangled together. She laughed with her whole heart again. And every time she touched my hand, I remembered that first day, the fear in her eyes, and how it led to the happiest accident of my life. Months later, lying on my chest, she whispered, "I'm glad you pretended with me." I kissed her hair. "Me too. It brought me to you." She smiled, soft and sure. "And now it's real." And it was. Realer than anything I'd ever felt. One evening, Mia rested her head on my shoulder and said, "Maybe someone out there needs to hear our story. Maybe it'll remind them to never give up on love." I laughed softly. "You think people would want to listen?" She nudged me playfully. "Of course. And maybe they'll even like and subscribe to hear more stories like ours." I wrapped my arms around her, pulling her close. "Then let's keep giving them stories worth believing in. And love worth choosing," she whispered.